The 20th World Council meeting in Aarhus, Denmark. More than 70 YMCAs are here and more than 19 are digitally present. Ignite is the theme. The Vision 2030 has been divided and is now to be implemented in the diverse YMCAs worldwide. What is the Vision 2030? Our YMCA vision. Our vision is a world where every person lives in harmony with self, with society, and with creation. And our YMCA mission? The YMCA mission is to empower young people and community worldwide to build a just, sustainable, equitable, and inclusive world, where every person can have in body, mind, and spirit. That's the YMCA vision. One movement, one collective vision, many approaches, united in diversity. The Vision 2030, 4 key pillars of impact: community well-being, meaningful world, sustainable planet, and just world. And it's our time to ignite change. We are happy that we have young adults from the YMCA around the world here today, who on one hand personally report about the meaning of the Vision 2030 on his own, and on the other hand, of the Vision 2030 for their YMCA. You are all YMCA members, and that is great. And so I want to ask you first to introduce yourself, from which YMCA you are and what you do there.
My name is Laura Sabo, or Lala for short, and I'm a board member of Hungarian YMCA.
Great.
I'm Abuna Asabia Kisiedu from Ghana YMCA. I'm part of the board and agenda rep for the Eastern region.
Okay. I am Pius Mana from the YMCA of Sierra Leone. I'm the National Youth Secretary, and at the National YMCA I also serve as the Disaster Risks and Security Officer.
Right, I am Kofi Asari Kisiedu. I'm a volunteer at my YMCA in Accra, Ghana.
My name is George Dela Kofi. I'm the National Youth Chairman for Ghana YMCA. I also represent the young people on the board as well.
I am Julian Momo, the National Youth President for the Sierra Leone YMCA. I represent the young people at the board.
Thank you very much. Thank you that you take time. And so you heard about the 4 pillars. What is the most important one for you personally, and why?
Okay, for me, I think the first pillar, community well-being. It's very important to me, and as a person, then looking at my country and my community where I represent, I think if we take care, we consider the well-being of the people, it affects everything that's around us. I'll first look at the psychological well-being of the person or myself before the other members of the Y and even other people in the community, because their life also affects us.
Yes.
Then I'll also look at the physical well-being of the person. The psychological well-being affects the physical well-being. If I'm not fit psychologically, it affects my lifestyle or my attitude towards people. So that's the first thing. That's the first pillar, and I love it so much. I was recently elected as a gender rep for my region. But before that, I was the youth president. We went around to look at the work of the youth, and we realized that some of them have no parents. Some of them, they have parents, but they are not in control of them.
Okay.
So they've involved themselves in some social vices that has really affected them. Some of them have lost confidence because they lack education. So what we did was, first of all, organize games for them. We know if the mind is fit, it affects the body as well. So we looked at that. Then as a gender rep, I intend to organize training. We have 10 branches in my region. I intend to organize training for the women especially, because I represent them, and look at those who have dropped out from school, those who are out of school but have no work, what can be done to them so that they will be well equipped to fit into the society. We will first of all look at a broad seminar gathering everybody at the regional center. That will consider the psychological needs of the people. We will involve a qualified psychologist so that you also look at them and we will see from there. Then I also think after healing them psychologically, what do they do? If they don't have any work, what do? We involve them in some skills training, soap making, making of the sanitizers. So that's what I intend to do.
Yes.
And I hope my region and the national will help to achieve this aim.
Thank you very much.
So for me personally, it was a very hard pick to come up with something because in the similar fashion that is stated in the official documents of the Vision 2030, all the 4 pillars are very much interrelated to each other, and you can't necessarily have one of them without the other. But my pick would be the pillar of a just world.
Yeah.
I'm also attending collabs and panels regarding that pillar here at the World Council, because I think for community well-being, for us to be able to do meaningful work, and for people to find it in themselves to care about a sustainable planet and a sustainable future, we need the base that is strong enough, that provides equal rights for all of us to be ourselves, provides equal rights in front of the law, provides equal rights morally, so we don't face discrimination and unfair drawbacks because of our skin color or any other basis that is usually up for discrimination. So I would think that the just world is something that I would kind of like place on the top of the list.
Yes.
And in my YMCA, in our national YMCA, I think it's also something we very much care about, and just the YMCA in general, because one of the things I love about the YMCA is that we have freedom of opinion. And no idea is a bad idea. It's just an idea that's up for discussion.
Yeah.
And no one's opinion is more important than the other person.
Yes,
So I
yes.
find it very beautiful, and I think the YMCA is providing a very good base to be able to make a just world in the
Yes,
future.
Thank you. I know it's difficult to decide which one is the most important. I know.
Thank you very much, Andrea. Like all my colleagues have said, I will not differ. And among the 4, it is really difficult to narrow down to one. And I also don't want to be passionate, but I would say the sustainable planet to me is the most important one. Because having looked at all the other pillars, I think they are all hinged on a sustainable planet. If the planet is really not sustainable, nothing else will happen. Imagine our stay here if the climatic condition wasn't good. I was wondering how we are even going to have
Yes.
a successful conference. So to me, a sustainable planet is very important because it is not just about us. Even talking about a just world, I see it even inside a sustainable planet, because if you are also not trying to preserve the planet, then you are also not just to the world. So to me, having a sustainable planet is very important, and I think it is something that we all should work towards. And because it is here, we are now seeing climate change all over the world. We see the sea level are increasing, the icebergs are melting, we are seeing temperatures are rising, and it is affecting our daily life, the way how we are even reacting and doing things. So if we can focus on it, it will be very nice. And as a YMCA at my national level, we are doing a lot. Currently, we are planting trees. We have established national youth groups that are generally working on disaster risk reduction and seeing how we can work towards having a sustainable planet. So we are really committed to it, and I know as also a global movement, we are really committed to having this vision being realized.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, if I could toe the line of my colleague, in my opinion, I think sustainable planets is the most important one to me, because the earth is our home, and if you destroy your home, then you won't talk about justice, you won't talk about empowerment or anything. So it's very key, and our action towards creating a sustainable planet is now, because some species are being endangered. We see how the climatic conditions keep changing. Somewhere that used to have rains, now you don't have rains. There is low harvest in some countries because of low downpour of rains, which is affecting our well-being in terms of shortage of foods. So that is more important. And my YMCA, the YMCA Sierra Leone, as young people, as mentioned by Pius earlier on, we have established groups that are engaged in planting trees, because deforestation is very, very common in our country, Sierra Leone, based on many reasons, for firewood, charcoals, building of houses and all. So, but before we go into those planting of trees, we first of all sensitize and make people aware about their actions, how it affects the climate. Because first of all, you need to make people aware. Some people do things, they don't really know the impact it has on the environment. But if you tell them that your actions lead to this, it's like a sensitization. And then you also tell them the meaning, the usefulness of planting those trees and trying to do things that will create a very friendly and sustainable environment.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I think sustainable planet is very, very, very important, because we haven't a planet B. So we have just this Earth, and if we destroy the Earth, we will never have another Earth to live on. So in my opinion, it's just really time for the YMCA to step ahead and to do green things to save this world. And it's really about time, because when we wait, we will no longer have a planet where we can wait on. So let's get ahead and let's get moving to save this world.
All right. I also think that it's sustainable planet, because as the saying says, when the last tree is dead, the last man dies. So I think it's important that we look at the sustainable planet very well. And also my YMCA has taken various steps to achieve this sustainable planet. And our first step is we had a climate change seminars that we do it online, where we talk to people about the changes of climate as well. And also the second step is we form a team that called Attack the Flood. We look at a case study in a town called Adabraka, where we had a case study. We realized that when it rains, the place gets flooded. So a team of volunteers came together, where we go to these climate change areas and we talk to them about how best they can avoid these floods in these areas as well.
Yes, thank you.
All right, I think I'll touch on everything my colleagues have said, starting from yes, community well-being. The YMCA back in Accra, Ghana, as part of its revamping of our national headquarters, looking at creating spaces, inclusive spaces, where everybody can come together, the old, the young, the aged, wherever they may be, can come together and then have a sense of inclusion. Yeah. And so that pillar as well is important. Yeah. Just like I stated, all the pillars are important. You can't take one out and say this is most important to you. In the aspect of sustainable environment, yep. Ghana, for instance, we are experiencing flooding. For the past 2 days, there's been flooding in Ghana, even as we are here in Aarhus. Majority of this flooding is due to the fact that we have not been able to switch from the use of plastic waste to paper waste back in Ghana, and it's becoming a problem. So that's also important for us, even as we are seeking to achieve this by 2030. Also on the aspect of what's it called? The just world, as Lala mentioned, yes. Discrimination across all borders is something that is still ongoing, even as we are here. Racial discrimination due to work or community, education levels and all that. So if we, as a YMCA, try to help each other across borders in partnership to prevent some of these things, I think it's go a long way to build the world up. Yeah. And it will go a long way to help YMCA achieve this 2030 vision.
Yes, thank you for your input. I'm very fascinated because you are young adults from 3 different countries and you work on the pillars and you also nick when other people say something. So it's a common ground on which we stand as the YMCA. We are in different countries, but we have 4 pillars and we have one vision and we have one work to do this. And when you think about your YMCA, do you think it's enough that what your YMCA do in these 4 pillars? And when not, why?
Okay, let me start with this one. Yes, on the aspect of meaningful work in Ghana, back in Ghana, I know the YMCA in Accra has a training program sort of to train the youth in aspect of plumbing, electrical works, woodwork, and joinery, as well as architectural draftsmanship. So this sort of bridges the gap between coming out from school fresh, getting some sort of craftsmanship work, and then going out into the real work or job market. So this will also slightly shift into the aspect of giving them a sense of belonging, and then helping them in the community to grow. And in Ghana, there's the tendency of a youth to go wayward if the person doesn't have any form of a craftsmanship or work that a person can do. And so YMCA back in Ghana is making conscious efforts to bridge that gap and to make sure the youth are equipped with the skills needed to do work in the world.
Yeah, so to add to what my brother said, Ghana YMCA recently had, or I would say has, because it's still in progress, has a big project or a huge project called the Youth Justice. They are looking at the laws have caught up with, those who are in prison, those who are out of prison, and those who stand the risk of violating the law. So they are looking at those in the prison, they visit them, engage them in conversations, healthy conversations that will give them hope to stand up to whatever they have been leveled against, or the reasons they are there, why they should encourage themselves so that if they come out, they will be successful people. They also look at those who are out of the prison. What do they do? Because some of them, their families have rejected them. So the YMCA is now training those individuals who are out of the prison to belong to the world. And also those who stand the risk of violating. They looked at the drivers, they looked at students who engage in alcoholism and other substance abuse. Yes, they organize seminars for them wherever they meet them, whether at football pitches or they meet them and encourage them to know the laws of the land so that they don't go contrary to whatever is stated in the constitution.
Yes.
So it's a huge project ongoing.
Yes. Thank you for the impact. And from Sierra Leone, Pius or Julian, can you say something about this?
Okay. Thank you very much. I think as a movement in Sierra Leone, we are doing a lot, but I don't think it is enough because I'm from a development background, and in the development world, it is all our little efforts put together, then we make a great change. So I wouldn't say my YMCA alone can create the change that we want to see, but I would just say we are also making a stride towards achieving the global goal that we want to see. I think around all the 4 pillars, we are doing a lot, because personally I'm also coordinating a disaster risks department, which has to do with also climate change and this sustainable environment. And sometimes we also do a lot of work around livelihood. We have a lot of schools that all over the country, we provide also technical trainings, vocational trainings for young people. And we are also into well-being, because some of our livelihood projects that we roll out also help a lot of young people, making sure they have livelihood sources. So we are working all around these 4 pillars, but I think it is not enough. Because especially when you even look at the Sustainable Planet, I think it's a concerted effort. Even though we are doing a lot, if another side of the planet, another continent, is not really committing themselves towards achieving, our efforts can't be realized. So I think it is a concerted work. Everybody needs to put hands on deck if we are going to achieve what we actually want to achieve. But as a national movement, we are doing a lot in terms of achieving these 4 pillars.
Yeah, thank you.
Honestly, I think when I look at these matters that the Vision 2030 addresses as the 4 pillars and all the sub-matters that are related to it, I think it's kind of safe to say that whatever you do, it's kind of never enough until you reach the goal. So obviously, I think that we can do more as World YMCA, European YMCA, as a national movement. But what I see in my national movement is a just world. We are working towards that. Community well-being is something we were very much focused on, especially during the COVID-19 times, but also ever since then, online and offline meetings have been provided to come together for tea and just have a place where you can talk, take your mind off of stuff. Like, we are organizing a YMCA cafe, which is also going to be present at one of the church festivals next week in Hungary. What I think we definitely have to work more on is, though, it's sustainable development and creating a more sustainable world. I think all the programs and events that we offer as a national YMCA do not focus on that enough. So I myself, as a board member, would love to work towards improving how we make a stand regarding sustainable development.
Yeah, thank you. And perhaps we can hear a voice of Germany.
Right.
The last one.
Right, okay, that's fine.
Oh yes, when you ask me if we have done enough, I would ask you, is the task complete? If not, we haven't done enough. So, but the task is too big for Germany. Yes, it might be a new info for you, but it's too big for Germany. So we need our brothers and sisters. And the gracious thing about the YMCA is that we are one movement. We are one family. So we have not to do this alone in Germany, but we can do this with our brothers and sisters. And this is the power of the YMCA. So let's tackle this job and let's get off the ground.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your impact. You are the youth, you are the young adults. The Vision 2030 is for you and for the next generation of YMCA. So thank you, Beth. And I think that the YMCA can be proud of such young adults who want to be creative, want to make the Vision 2030 real. So you can clap yourself because you can be proud. Yes, we have to do more, but you do so much for the YMCA, and we are very proud that you are one piece of our YMCA. So you can clap yourself, and thank you very much for your work, and thank you.
Thank you.